today's extra-long episode of Impulse, me and Associate Editor Peter Dlakowski sat down and discussed the net's jam-packed 6 months in games, and what we think of the upcoming releases so far. Peter, video games are coming out en masse! The next 6 months is gonna be insane, but specifically, like, these first 2 months are kind of nuts, but that's to be expected.
If you like video games, there's gonna be something for you in the next 6 months.
Normally, in previous years, it sort of calms down by the time Christmas rolls around and the New Year comes out. Not this New Year. It just keeps going. The momentum just keeps going all the way up until like March.
I think it even goes a little beyond.
But starting off in October, the current month we're in now, Assassin's Creed Odyssey officially comes out as of this recording and when it's going up today. And we had high praise for that from Brett.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things.
But there's also been some hot takes, like 15 hours to get to certain content and whatnot.
Yes.
But I don't know if I buy into that belief of, like, it picks up at 15 hours. I am maybe 20 to 25 hours into the game, and I've had fun, like, throughout the whole experience so far. So maybe they're trying to rush through the story, and they're hitting, like, walls of not being a certain level, but I've never had that issue.
I've had that with other games. I mean, as a reviewer, sometimes you just blast through things. I could see that.
In the context of what I'm playing like, I'm just going full-on completionist. I'm going to every little detail I can find. I will find on the map, and any question marks I'm hitting up. So I'm not having any trouble whatsoever gaining experience. And if you explore a lot, I don't think you're going to run into that issue. But if you're trying to blast through the story, then yeah, I can probably see that being a thing. But the next big release is Call of Duty Black Ops, which we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about it other than I can't believe I'm looking forward to a Call of Duty game.
I'm probably going to pick that up just purely for the Black Ops.
I can see that. I mean, it's the best thing about... Well, I don't know. I haven't played the normal beta, but it's the best Battle Royale game I've played so far, so yes.
But then following that, right before... probably the biggest game of the month, Red Dead Redemption 2, is Soul Calibur 6.
Did you try out the beta?
No. The last Soul Calibur I played was 2 on the Dreamcast, I think. No, that was the original, I think. That's about it.
I didn't play the PSP Soul Calibur, but I didn't try 5 because nothing about it interested me.
I can't remember which was which, but I remember playing the first on Dreamcast, I think.
Yes.
And then I believe I dabbled in 2 on the Xbox. Did 2 have Spawn on Xbox?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's about it. That's where I've played.
The only ones I've owned are the original on the Xbox Live re-release, and then 2. But I've played 3 and 4. From the beta of Soul Calibur, I have no idea what the heck's going on with that online. And the gameplay's fine, I suppose. I didn't get enough time in to really make an opinion, but my god, is that netcode just awful. It takes so long to find a match, and then even when you're in one, it lags. It's just... They also didn't have local play in the beta, so my friend and I, we did the stupid thing where, we have 2 PS4s in the same house, and we're searching for each other, and we still couldn't find each other. Like, I have no idea. So, I don't know, I think that one might be one to wait on.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's fits by release, but, I don't know, lately I feel like games are getting rushed out the door more and more often.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to just call it right now, like Soul Calibur 6 is dead or whatever, but I don't see myself buying it at launch.
But probably this and maybe one other game this year I'm going to be buying at launch. Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, Peter, you don't have to be the anti-hype to my hype. Because, man, at first, I was cautious. I'm not going to really look at any trailers too much. I'm not going to think too much about it. And then the previews, specifically, like the various outlets talking about the game, and then is what got me on board the hype train. Specifically, Game Informer's preview. The way they described that game about rewriting open worlds, and then like a couple of days later, Rockstar's Twitter just coming out being like, yeah, I don't know, there's 200 animals to hunt. Sure, why not?
And a lot of that seems like impressive technology, but I just don't see the gameplay point. What does that do for the story?
Rockstar is like an interesting test of what you could do with a studio if they had no budget or care in the world about a budget.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to discount that little touches like this flesh out the world and make you feel more immersed. To me, though, it's just, I'd rather have the world be smaller and filled with things with purpose instead of just background details.
Then coming out in November, there's going to be 2 major releases kicking off November 13th, both Hitman 2 and the Spyro Reignited trilogy, which was supposed to come out back in like what, September?
Yes, September.
Yeah, and I feel like Spyro should have came out in September, but then there would have been that download thing, that controversy or whatever.
Yeah, only the original game.
And now I feel like they should have delayed it to January, because I feel like November, Spyro has no chance in hell.
As we're looking over all these game releases, like even December could have worked. I just really, it comes out the day before Fallout, 2 days before Pokemon, a week before Battlefield. Because Hitman and Fallout are, well, I don't know if Fallout's M-rated, but they're at least geared more towards older audiences. So like maybe, but then Pokemon is 3 days later. Someone messed up there.
The only kids that are interested in Spyro are the kids that played that toy game thing that I forgot the name of.
Skylanders,
yeah. Those are like the only kids that have any idea or concept of what Spyro even is. This Spyro, I don't think appeals to that audience whatsoever. Appeals to an older audience.
Now this is going to be exactly like Crash.
And I feel like that older audience is probably going to be far more interested in Hitman 2 and Fallout 76. And even Pokemon a couple of days later.
I mean, we could be surprised because Crash is still selling stupidly well. So
yeah, I mean, it's those UK sales charts. I just don't know if Spyro will have that same appeal. But as for Fallout 76 in general, I'm a huge Fallout fan. I've been playing Fallout since Fallout 2. That was the first Fallout game I ever got, and then after I played that to hell and back, I immediately went back to Fallout 1 that I found from just a used copy at a store, and I've been a fan since. I've never been crazy, though, about what Bethesda has tried to do with the franchise. I've still had fun with their games. I still have very fond memories of just exploring in Fallout 3, but in terms of like the writing and the story and stuff, I've never been really too crazy about what they've done with that franchise. So it's interesting, though, that they're trying to do what feels like an already dated concept. I don't know if I want a Fallout Rust experience in 2018.
to me, it actually sounds like that abandoned Fallout Online project.
Even that, but that was more of an MMORPG. This feels like a survival game that's 2 years late to the party. Following that is Pokemon. That looks... The more and more I hear about that game, the more and more I am nowhere as excited as I should be for a Pokemon game on Switch.
I don't know. I mean, I think it could be okay. I understand the difference in approach, that it's a more casual-faced Pokemon. And
it's not a core game. That's the key thing.
And honestly, what drives me wild about Pokemon is that they're literally all the same game. They can do so much more with that formula other than, I'm your professor, and here's 3 starter Pokemon, and you can only be on this path. I want a Pokemon game where I just wake up one morning and look out the window and go, I want to be a Pokemon trainer and just do my own thing. Not freaking, I gotta talk to the professor of my rinky-dink small town, my mom's gonna cry when I'm leaving, and then I gotta go through 8 gyms and beat the Elite Four. Like, I don't care about that.
And then following that is Battlefield 5, which has everybody mad for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah, some legitimate, some not.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't really have an interest in Battlefield anymore, so that's not my game.
Following that, though, comes December, the Christmas holidays, where I think Spyro would have at least had a chance.
Spyro would have done excellent in December, but whatever.
But kicking off December is Just Cause 4 on December 4th.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Just Cause 3 was whatever. Just Cause 2 was a lot better. It's just, I feel like Avalanche were all split up trying to do Mad Max and Just Cause 3, and you can kind of tell from the quality.
I think it was just their first PS4 project, and they didn't really nail it.
Yeah. And then is Katamari Damacy Reroll, which is like a remake, I think. This is the first game.
It's a remake of the first game, yeah.
It's weird.
I really, really don't understand why it's not the first 2 games, considering they're pretty complementary, and 2 is dramatically better. But for me, it's going to really depend on the price, because if it's like $40, no.
Yeah, definitely.
The original game launched for $20. There's no way you're going to justify making me pay twice as much.
But the biggest release of December, Super Smash Bros.
Arguably the year.
Yeah, definitely.
Smash, I mean, it looks incredible.
All the characters.
You hear all this stuff with fighting games, like, oh, well, there's pre-order DLC, and then season passes, and like fan favorite characters get cut out. Smash is just, nah, we'll just have everyone. We did the impossible and brought back characters that probably are in licensing hell.
Yeah, I think about Snake in general.
I'm astounded, and then honestly, I was fine after E3. It's like, holy crap, everyone's back. And then they still announced new characters that blew people's minds. So
And yet there are still very angry fans that want more. Because of course, there'll always be.
I just think that game, unless something is royally wrong with the gameplay, that could end up being the best game ever made.
I feel like this is Sakurai's, like, right off into the sunset game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure once he finishes it, he's just going to walk into the mountains somewhere, set up his house, and disappear from society.
He deserves it.
Yes, after all the work he's done, absolutely.
We're kicking off the new year. It's Travis Strikes Again.
I really hope for the best of that, but I haven't heard anything positive.
I love No More Heroes, so I'm hopeful, but I haven't really heard anything about this game, so I don't...
I just remember reading, I want to say it was a Kotaku post, where it said the game was pretty bad.
Oh, no. Oh, by the way, when does The Quiet Man come out? Do we have a date on that?
Oh, November 1st?
God, we forgot about The Quiet Man. Oh, what have we done? The Quiet Man!
He was too quiet for us.
I have heard some, like, people coming out of demos of that behind closed door stuff from that game, and people are comparing it to The Room of video games.
Oh, Lord, heaven.
That it's just the most bizarre thing they've ever played.
The game is said to be playable in one sitting.
Yeah, I recommend everyone listen to this. Go look up, like, Quiet Head written previews or, like, gameplay previews or anything. It looks like the so bad it's good kind of game, and I think we need more of those lately.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a bad but made with passion kind of game instead of just it's cynically bad because we injected a bunch of bullcrap into it.
And then following Travis Strikes Again is probably the two biggest releases of 2019. Right at the start of the year.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil 2 remake and Kingdom Hearts 3.
I'm very excited for Resident Evil 2, but I've been waiting like 13 years for Kingdom Hearts 3. So, I'd rather play Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, no, the Toy Story gameplay from that just kind of sold me, and I'm not even a huge fan of that series, so I might go back and try and play those games, but like there's so much there that it's very intimidating.
I've only played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, so
I've only played the first one, and it's just, man.
Yeah, to me though, it's just that's what I was waiting for so long, and it's just surreal to me that it's actually happening. I'm excited.
I'm surprised Resident Evil 2 maybe didn't try and go for an October release, but I guess they needed more work under the hood. But Resident Evil 2 still has me excited.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2 looks fantastic. I don't see any of the complaints about like, oh, they're actionizing it or it looks like it's dumbed down.
I've seen some complaints about like some of the character models. Like Ada Wong looks kind of weird.
Well, they do look weirdly realistic. Devil May Cry 5 has that as well, which we'll get to in a little bit.
They're going down this weird approach of like, yo, we're gonna do hyper realism for our character models now, and it's kind of odd.
Honestly, with that hyper realism, I'm looking forward to seeing Tofu.
Yeah.
I want to see what the hell that'll look. It's probably gonna be horrifying.
It's gonna be like the Final Fantasy 15 like shrimp noodle cup promotion or whatever the hell.
With cup noodle.
Yeah, cup noodle. Yeah, it's gonna be that basically, but your giant tofu block. I can't wait. Then coming in comes February, the month of like
the same day release.
Man, yeah, 3 games all on the same day: Anthem, Days Gone, and Metro Exodus. And I only care about maybe one of those games, and even then I'm pretty kind of lukewarm. That's Metro Exodus.
And Anthem's probably notable because not only is it BioWare, but it's likely going to be the game that kills BioWare. So
yeah, that's the nail in their coffin, I feel.
I always want to hope for the best, but everything I've seen about Anthem is just, it's one of those things where like, wow, games can look this good, and then you see it in motion, you're like, it's so advanced in technology, but then just nothing about it looks interesting.
Yeah, it looks, I'm getting like a weird Monster Hunter vibe from it. I don't know what to expect, and I mean that in the worst way.
Personally, I don't have an interest in it just because I don't like those MMO shooter games as a service things. They just suck up way too much time and offer very little.
I don't know, I just feel like BioWare is another studio that is on the EA chopping block.
I would say most likely, unless Anthem somehow does well.
And then there's Days Gone, which also just feels like a game that is just... I talked about how Anthem feels like it's late to the party, but this feels like it's a generation late to the party. Like, it's just weird to me that they're doing a zombie game, a post-apocalyptic thing, after The Last of Us.
It's just another zombie survival horror game. Like, this would have been a hit in 2013.
Would have been a hit maybe before The Last of Us came out. I feel like Sony trying to pump out another attempt at that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to be down about it. It's just, to me, it just nothing about that looks appealing.
It has that World War Z looking horde mentality in a video game, which is, I guess, a cool concept. Like that's what that game feels like its only selling mechanic is. I don't know if that's enough.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but at the same time, there's bound to be someone who's interested in zombies still. So,
and then there's Metro Exodus, which I don't know. I don't really know much about that. I know that they're trying to go for like a semi-open world.
Graphically, it looks phenomenal, which is par for the course for Metro. But I mean, I didn't like the first Metro, and I never played the second one, so
I'm lukewarm to it. I'm like, yeah, it'll probably be a good game, I guess. I don't know. Studio has a good track record. They're doing another one. Hey.
Yeah, and it has been enough time. Like, it's not like they were crapping these out every 2 years. It's been like 6, I think.
On the topic of crapping things out,
Wow.
comes Crackdown 3, which I don't think, I'll say it here, I don't think that game is coming out. I think that game is effectively dead and canceled. Because,
Yeah, I bet we're going to hear that next year.
they showed another trailer at E3 earlier this year, and I remember there was some specific announcements that coming out of that, and like some wording out of Microsoft saying that like we're not gonna delay this thing any further. But since they've said all that, there has been no information. There's been no other trailers, and we don't even have like a set in stone release date.
No, it's just February, whatever that means.
February is right around the corner, and we still have jack all for information on that game. I think it's canceled. I think Microsoft are waiting right now for, I would even say in the next couple of weeks, they will come out and say it's canceled, because there's going to be all these massive big game releases coming out. There's going to be a lot of buzz around those, so them coming out and just saying it's dead on a very busy week would be a very smart move. Because instead of it's dead this week, it'd be the #1 story right now, trending all over the place. They are waiting for a super busy time to be like, it's dead. And yeah, it'll still be big, but like, there'll be a lot of distractions.
I'm surprised they're even still pushing forward with Crackdown, because Crackdown 2 was a steaming pile of garbage. So,
And then following that is the month of March, which I like to now refer to as the month of Uncle Dante coming back. With his hyper
with his
realism.
weird realist, yeah.
Well, I'm all for it. I've seen slow-mo motion caps of his face. I'm down.
I don't know how I dig the art style, but from what I've seen of the gameplay, it looks like a classic Devil May Cry.
I'm pretty excited about it. It's probably my most anticipated 2019 release so far after Resident Evil 2.
The only thing that gets me is just there's microtransactions, and I hate that.
The thing that bugs me, and Jim Sterling brought this up, is how the director was talking about how, like, we want to have the choice for the player to be able to just, like, get all the skills or whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, cheat codes would have been the answer for that back in the day.
There were some games on the 360 that had cheat codes, and they just disabled achievements. I mean,
Yeah.
what the hell? There's really no reason. You could have just put cheat codes in. Or hell, you could have just put in a very easy mode that made the grinding go away. I don't understand it. And then apparently that Mega Buster is DLC. I thought it was just an unlockable.
It'll still be a fine game without all that so.
Yeah, I just hope the discourse around it is more about the game itself instead of the microtransactions. I know I'm likely to never play it because of that, but, you know, I'm only one person.
But following that is The Division 2 on March 15th, and I never played the first Division.
Yeah, The Division was a very missed opportunity. A great setting and atmosphere, but then you have these people wearing friggin' beanies, and you're shooting them in the head like 20, 30 times, and they're not dying, because it's a grindy shooter RPG. It doesn't capitalize on its setting very well.
And then following that is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. That's a From Software game that looks really good from the very few clips I've seen of it.
For next year, I'm actually more interested in Ghost of Tsushima, but regardless of that, Sekiro looks pretty damn solid.
I have seen maybe like a single Twitter web of that game, and I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. That's it. That's my Sekiro hot take.
With Sekiro, that they removed the dying aspect from Dark Souls, so you don't go to bonfires or whatever after you die. You just resurrect on the spot.
Okay.
So the reason they did that too is the director was saying in samurai movies and showdowns and all that, basically you die in one hit. So they wanted to retain that kind of fright and tension without compounding on load times. So They just have, if you die, you basically die in a single hit, and then you have to respawn on the spot. There's likely to be enemies getting health back or something, but I don't know how it will disrupt the balance of the game, but it sounds kind of interesting.
We'll have to wait and see, I guess, but that's been our discussion. It's been a lengthy one. This has been an extra long episode because it's been a slow week, so I figured, we'll beef this episode up. So.
I mean, this is basically a podcast at this length.
Welcome to the podcast of Impulse.
Pulsecast.
But what games are you most excited for in the next 6 months? Do you think Crackdown 3 is vaporware at this point? Let me know down below. And remember, for all your video game news, reviews, features, and more, be sure to head on over to Destructoid.com.